Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Your buddy Tim back with another video, and in today's video, we're going to answer the question, is it still a seller's market here in North Alabama, or is it starting to crack? Are the buyers finally getting the advantage, or at least getting to an even playing field? Well, the short answer to a very long-winded video is maybe. I know you hate it when I do that, but look, the truth of the matter is here in North Alabama for probably the last year or so, it has been a very heavy seller's market. We've been at a 20-year low in inventory. We have a population boom here that already has us as the largest city in the state. That would be Huntsville. We overtook Birmingham and Montgomery this year. So we are experiencing just incredible growth, economic development growth. Jobs are here, a lot of people moving. Well, of course, as you would expect, that is going to have an impact on the number of available homes. And so for, like I said, the last year or so, the sellers have really been in the driver's seat. We've seen multiple offers. We've seen properties going in minutes, if not, days or less. Sellers have really been dictating the terms. There have been no concessions, no contingencies. If you want it, you better get in line, and I hope you got enough cash to buy it. And that has been the market here really for the last year or so. Well, things are changing somewhat. And we talk about that a lot on the program. We are not in a market where the bottom is going to fall out. It's not going to collapse, not here. However, interest rates, time of year, have people pumping the brakes. So things have slowed down. So what was a very heavy seller's market, which really took advantage of the poor buyers, back, if you did not have a bag full of cash or the ability to pay way over price, way over asking price, if you were a buyer in this market, a traditional buyer, one who maybe has saved up 3, 5, 10% of a down payment and needed to get a loan, you were behind the 8 ball. Because we had so many people moving here from out of state, literally with just bags of cash. They sold a 1,200 square foot house in D.C. for $800,000. Well, they come here, they can buy a mansion. And so the sellers had the power, and the buyers, God love them, they just tried and tried to buy homes, and it didn't work for a lot of folks. Well, things are finally turning around. We are seeing sellers finally willing to price their house reasonably, look at contingencies, offer concessions, and do what they have to do to get the home sold. Now, an article came out today. It's on one of my favorite websites. I'm going to pull up here in just a second. It's called retechnology.com, and it is a website with news about the real estate industry. It tracks things, so we use it quite a bit. But this article popped up today. Bargaining power is back. 92% of recent sellers accepted buyer-friendly terms. Now, that headline should be in really big, bold type. It should be flashing, because that really is a change in the marketplace here. Because again, up until recently, sellers were not willing to give an inch. They demanded the highest price they could get without any concession. So we're starting to see a change. So sellers, once again, making repairs, accepting contingencies as we move toward a more balanced housing market. And I think that term is really important. More balanced housing market. As I said, the bottom is not falling out here in North Alabama, but we are returning to normalcy. We are returning to sanity and logic and math. And so this is it hits the nail right on the head. It's a more balanced housing market where homes are sold at fair market value. Every buyer has the chance to put in an offer and buy a home, and it's just a more balanced market. So according to the article, the days of frenzied sales with waived inspections might be behind us as buyers regain a bit of bargaining power, according to Realtor.com survey. 92% of people who sold their home within the last year accepted some buyer-friendly terms, and 41% accepted some contingencies on the contract. This really is a change, guys, because we would see offers come in. It was so competitive, there were no contingencies. People were not asking for, concessions. They were not asking for help paying closing costs. They were not asking for price reductions. A lot of the homes were sold without an inspection. Don't ever do that. Get an inspection. They were sold without an inspection. And if you had any contingency, for example, if you had to sell a home to buy a home, you were shite out of luck here, my friends, because it just wasn't going to fly. So we are starting to see those buyer-friendly terms come back. We are seeing contingencies come back. And I mentioned this in a recent video. There are sellers here who are willing to concede $10,000, $15,000, even $20,000 or more in concessions to help buyers get the home at an interest rate that they can afford. Back to the article. Additionally, among those surveyed, the number of buyers asking for repairs based on the inspection results more than doubled in recent months, and the number of sellers refusing to make repairs dropped to 0. That is a big one. Because, repairs are often where deals go to hell in a handbasket. They do the inspection on the home, the buyer does. It identifies a number of things that need to be repaired. Well, in our market, sellers were going, no, buy it as it is or don't buy it at all. Well, now repairs are back. Home inspections are back. Real estate agents hate it. Let's see. Number refusing to make repairs. Whether it be financing, timing, repairs, or flexibility, the art of negotiation is returning to the housing market. I got to tell you guys, I, for one, am thrilled. We did incredibly well in this recent market, but we had so many buyers that could not buy homes. They couldn't find a home either that they could compete with, or they had contingencies, or they had this or they had that. So I personally welcome the level playing field. So let's go on. Our survey shows that the overheated housing market of the past 2 years, and that's what it was, which predominantly favored sellers totally, is beginning to regain a sense of normalcy, which is welcome news for home buyers, says George Radiu, manager of economic research at Realtor.com. Again, there's that phrase, sense of normalcy. Not the bottom falling out, just getting back to where it should have been. The combination of higher mortgage rates and prices have noticeably cooled demand over the first half of the year. Well, actually the last half of the year. In addition, as more homeowners have been listing their properties, rising inventory is motivating more of them to resort to price cuts and concessions in order to successfully close transactions. At the same time, even as we are seeing a shift toward a more buyer-friendly market, it's worth noting that the majority of home sellers are still satisfied with the outcome of their sale. This simply means, guys, that we're getting back to win-win when it comes to negotiating a home sale. The sellers are coming out at fair market value, the buyers are coming to the table, and they're putting in fair offers, and they're meeting in the middle, and everybody goes away happy. So room for negotiation. This is an interesting point here because honestly, there hasn't been much negotiating going on here lately. Despite the extremely competitive housing market of the past several years, the survey suggests that negotiation is back on the table, both for price and contract terms. You got to realize when it comes to real estate, everything is negotiable. Price, time to close, repairs, concessions. Are you going to leave the refrigerator? Everything is open for negotiation again. Homes that sold at or above asking price peaked at 82% in February and March of 22, when mortgage rates were below 4%, and dropped to 69% for homes that sold within the last month when rates hovered near 6%. By contrast, the share of sellers who sold below asking jumped from 18% in February and March to 31% for those who have sold in the last month. Take note, the share of sellers who sold below asking is up from 18% to 31% in the last month, okay? In our MLS, there was a period of time where every house sold at least at asking price or above. It was incredible. All right, so let's look at a few quick statistics here and we'll be done. Additionally, 92% of all recent sellers accepted some buyer-friendly terms. Those included 41% accepted some contingencies in the contract. This is an appraisal, home inspection, home sale financing. For the longest time here, there were no appraisal contingencies because the homes were going at such a high rate above appraisal. The buyers were having to waive the appraisal. Now, what happens if the home doesn't appraise? Well, the buyer is going to have to bring cash to make up the shortfall, to fill the gap. Well, guess what? Now it is becoming much more common again that an appraisal contingency is in the contract, and if a home doesn't appraise, there's going to be some renegotiation on the price. 32% dropped the price because the home didn't meet appraisal. What did I just say? 32% paid for some or all of the buyer's closing costs. We're seeing this a lot now. Rising interest rates have caused sellers to offer money to help buy down those points or to pay closing costs. It's a buyer's market. Don't tell anybody. 30% had to be flexible on the timeline for closing. 29% paid for repairs to the home after appraisal. 28% were not able to rent the home back after close despite asking. We were seeing that quite a bit. It was a seller's market, so we had a lot of folks deciding to sell their home without having somewhere to go. So they would sell the home, but then they'd want to lease it back for 6 months or a year even. Saw that one. That stuff's going away. Inspections and repairs make a comeback again. This is one of the areas where a lot of deals fall through. They make the inspection. The inspector comes up with a list of items. The realtors submit the repair request. Recently sellers were like, if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. They're making a comeback. There is now inspections and repairs. Let's see. Of those who sold within the last month, 95% of sellers reported that the buyer requested a home inspection. Did I mention that you should always get a home inspection? Yeah. Up from 82% of those who sold 6 to 12 months ago. More than twice as many buyers of homes that sold in the last month asked for repairs as a result of the home inspection. 67% compared to 6 to 12 months ago, where it was 31%. This is really interesting here. The number of surveyed sellers who refused to pay for any repairs during that time dropped from 8% to 0%. Every seller that responded in this survey made some repairs. All right, so it's always important. So let's see, I'll respond. 95% who sold their home in the last month made some updates or repairs. The average amount that recent sellers spent on repairs prior to listing was $14,000, and then I guarantee you they spend some afterwards. So let's see, they're going to finish up here. It's not all bad news for sellers. Despite the shifting markets, homes are still selling relatively quickly, although we're seeing homes sit on the market a little longer. All right, so we still have some that sell in one day. We still have some that take a week. We've had houses that have been sitting on the market forever. But we have an old saying here at Revolved, really, it just takes one, and you never know when that one will walk in the door. So let's see, changing needs motivated sellers after 2 years of the pandemic, and the pandemic played a huge part in this. Sellers' needs have changed, prompting a search for another home. So you might ask yourself, other than the ability to make a ton of money in this market, why would sellers consider selling? The pandemic really changed our lives. We have so many people now staying at home, working from home, spending so much time at home that they realize, I don't really care for this home. It really doesn't suit my needs. 31% of sellers were looking for different amenities, different features. 29% found that the home no longer met the need for their family. You might need a home office. You might need this. You might need a larger family room. 26%, it's almost like I read this. Need a home office for remote work. 23% wanted to live closer to family and friends. 20% felt they bought their home in a hurry and decided it was not the right home for them. And then 17% no longer needed to live near an office because they weren't driving to work. So there you go. I just found that really interesting because it does signal a change in the market here. Again, it's been a seller's market here. It's still a seller's market if you look at the available inventory and the months that that we have available inventory. I think the last we looked, we had something like 3 months worth of inventory, meaning that if no other houses went in the MLS, all of those would probably be sold within 3 months. It doesn't flip officially to a buyer's market until maybe 6 months. Once we've got 6 months worth of inventory, then it's more of a buyer's market. But again, sellers, buyers, we are starting to see folks meeting in the middle. It is becoming a much more equitable market, and we are finally getting back to a more balanced housing market. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Hey, don't forget, if you are looking to buy, sell, rent, invest, what have you, we've got Revolved Realty here, 90 some odd agents on the ground right now ready to go to work for you. And if you're already here and you're looking to list your home, nobody does it better than Revolved Realty. We will get that home sold quickly for the most possible, and we will be your negotiator on either side. I guarantee you we're going to do the best job for you that anyone can. So, hey, don't forget also, guys, if you like what we do here on the channel, click that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, click like, and that way you never miss another video. So, all right, guys, it doesn't matter if you're buyer and seller, the market is becoming more balanced, and that is a good thing. So that's it, guys. Get out, make it a great day. I will talk to you soon.